Hello, and welcome to the TheDarkNest podcast. I'm your host, TDN Horror Stories, and as always, I'm joined by my feathered co-host, As the Raven Dreams.
Hello, hello, hello.
And today, we have our first guest of Season 2. He's a very talented author and has been featured on mine and Raven's channels for modern-age horror to inspirations of old folklore and craftsmanship like that of Lovecraft and Poe. Please give a warm welcome to N. Murdock.
Well, you sure know how to make a girl cream in her jeans.
Okay.
All right. So, how you doing, man? It's been a while.
It has.
Yes. What have you been up to? What have you been working on?
I mean, I've been working on a lot. I haven't been posting a lot online though, which is probably
That's it. You
been
failed.
throwing some people off.
That's it. You failed everybody. Great. Thanks.
Yeah.
So I heard you've been trying to adapt Colita into like an actual novel.
Yeah. I kind of look like a crazy person right now. I've got a massive whiteboard in my office. That's just there's stuff falling down all around me. I don't know what's happening. Uh, there's a massive whiteboard in my office just fastened to the wall, and it is covered in writing.
Just of ideas of where to take the story.
Oh yeah. It's just chapter plotting.
Okay. If so for anybody who hasn't actually read Colita or has not listened to the video that I did on it, it's one of the most well written stories on Reddit that I've read.
Aw.
And it's one of the most unorthodox that you would actually see on that side of the internet, because most of the time it would be a completely different type of writing style and it would be a completely different type of story. You don't really see stories that go into the older times and the older style of writing and the older style of storytelling, because it's modernized, but it isn't. It has a lot of Poe inspiration. It feels like there's a lot of older style way of storytelling in it, and I think that's what makes it so special. So what about Colita makes you want to turn it into a novel? Are you going to try to do backstory on the whole werewolf thing?
Yeah. As far as why I picked it, it's probably my favorite story that I've written.
Mm-hmm.
And also it's just I don't know. There's something about it that I really enjoy being in that world, being in that headspace. So, yes, I am doing backstory on the werewolves and sort of how they came about, sort of the whole curse of man to beast type thing.
Right.
There's a lot of religious aspects to it, introducing some new characters and fleshing out characters that like the narrator in Coletta, who didn't even have a name,
Right.
which was intentional, but now it's a bit more fleshed out.
So is the original story still part of it? Is it leading up to it type thing?
It's kind of the same story. It's still the narrator's brother gets taken by a beast, but I'm just expanding on that world quite a bit more, more into the chase, the redemption arc,
Mm-hmm.
just trying to figure it all out and survive.
So how long are you hoping to get this story? Is this book? Is it supposed to be
Right
full
now,
novel?
oh yeah, that's what I'm aiming for, is about probably 75,000 word
Damn.
at the minimum.
Okay. Well, whenever it comes out, be sure to hit me up. I'd love to promote it and shout it out, because that was one of my favorite stories that I've ever narrated. And to this day, there has not been a single art piece that I've done that has matched Coletta. There is not a single thing I've done that makes me more happy and pleased to look at, because it looks like a fucking book cover.
Yeah, that thumbnail's legit.
I love that thing.
I have that thumbnail saved, man.
I am planning on actually like trying to I don't know, I guess recreate it, but like in book style format, so that it actually looks like a book cover. Like you can actually like use it. So
Right.
I was thinking about creating like the actual wrapping of it, like the front, the back, the side, or whatever.
Hmm.
Just even if you don't even decide to use it, like I want to do it because it looked so good. I don't even
See,
remember how I did it, so there's
that
no
would
way I'm
come down
recreating it.
that would come down to whether or not I decide to indie publish, or if I can
Right.
manage to get some publisher to put their hands on it.
I mean, with how well written the original story is, and how hard I know you are working on it, I would say that your chances are pretty high if you decide to aim for them.
Hmm. Well, I
Agreed.
appreciate that. I just it's so much more daunting than I thought it would be.
You're just like, dude, I already know what the world is. Like, I know all the characters. I'm just gonna flesh this out. And you're like, there's so much in between that I didn't think about.
Hmm.
Yeah.
How it goes, yeah.
And then you go to sit down, and it's like, I don't have 6 hours, you know. I have
But
maybe
I
an
need
hour.
them.
But it's definitely been a lot of fun.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So besides Coletta, do you have anything else that you're working on, or are you just putting full like brain power on this?
Oh no, I've got other little projects. I actually just pitched a little project to Raven a few days ago.
Blasphemy.
Oh. I worked with him for Starkey's
Um,
Mine.
True.
No, and of course, he knows that if he pitches anything to me, which he did pitch, he knows I'm going to absolutely accept it.
Right.
There would never be a reason for me to say no. Well, there would be a few reasons, but I doubt he would write them. Uh,
hmm.
for me to ever say no to anything. Mr. Murdock writes here.
The project that I pitched and am currently a story and a half deep into. It's a series of short stories, sort of more in that modern internet age of writing that we find ourselves in, as opposed to
Hmm.
things like Coletta. Yeah, I'm calling it Diary of a Drifter, which
Okay.
is a pretty basic title. I feel like,
I
but
mean,
it's all
like
right.
you could say it's a working title for now, and then by the time it comes out, and you're like, well, I just couldn't find another thing. So I said it was a working title, and it works. So there you go.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still a good title. It's
Yeah.
not-
No, it's not a bad title. The
and
the
we've got little like subtitle too. So
the funny part about
the
like stuff like that is that we're all like artists in a weird way. Like everything we do is a form of art, and everybody knows
mm,
that the artist is the worst critic of their art. So you
absolutely.
could make the most absolute like detailed title that tells you everything and nothing, and you'll just be like, it's the worst thing I've ever made. Like, thumbnails that I've done 2 weeks ago look shittier than the ones I've done now, and I'm like, how did I ever how did I ever make those? Like, what was I thinking? How did I send those out? I need to refund them, like all of them.
Damn,
It's
dude.
like
Yeah.
every time I go back and I look at the first short story that I put out, which is trash on fire.
I mean, I think all of our short stories when we all started were really shit. Like, because that's what I did before I was a narrator. Was like I was really trying to become a writer, and I always have like
Mhm.
really good ideas. I think, but I was just never like I have the know-how to like actually make them into a cohesive story and on paper. It's just the time that I don't have. Like I never ever have time to do something like that, and it takes a lot of
Right.
time to flesh a proper story out. So
Yes.
that's my issue is I take on too many things at once. Like I'm doing like YouTube, I'm doing a podcast, I do thumbnails, I make music. There's so many fucking things that I do constantly that like writing as of now is like literally off the table. Like I can't. There's no way I could.
Understandable.
I want to though. I really do. Like I wanna write more stuff. I remember the first story I wrote. A knock on the door. I remember that. I had a couple people actually narrate it, but I don't know why, because it was so bad. Like, it was so shit. And that's when, that was back when nobody messaged people on Reddit about doing like narrating the stories. They would always post it in the comments of the actual thread. So you would just have like no actual like, oh, this story was cool, this story was good. It was all just fucking, hey, can I use this? Can I use this story? Can I use this story? I'm like, thank you.
No offense to anybody who does, look for work on Reddit. I mean, we all been
Don't
there,
flood the
but,
thread though. Like, come on.
that's part of the reason why I stopped posting my stuff on Reddit. It's just the constant stream of messages. It was a lot to keep up with.
Yeah. It's like, can I use it, please? I think, how did it work with us? I think you just reached out to me, right? It was I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember either.
You came on my radar somehow, and then eventually you asked, oh, I think I said I was looking for stories, and you said you had one, and then you emailed it to me, and I'm like, this is great, and I did it.
He and I talked, and I did
That's right.
the daughter story.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Something took my daughter, and then
Also
because
not
that
one
I
of my
followed
best
him, and I
works.
think you probably followed him at the same sometime similar. Probably got recommended.
I think you posted
Or
like
I
the link to it.
I retweeted your request.
Yeah, and that, like, and he saw it and posted that he had that he worked on something. At first, I was like, "Oh, you did? Like, that's cool." I had no idea who you were, and like, I hadn't watched Raven's video or anything, so I had usually when people are like, "Oh, I have a story," it's always like the worst fucking thing I've ever read in my life.
Terrible.
It's always so. Understandably, when you said that, I was like, "Here we fucking go," and I'm gonna look at the email and never talk to this person again. Like, no, that's how. Because I don't want to.
Hey, you're not wrong. I'm just saying.
Like, it happens a lot where like people are like, I have a story, and I read it, and I'm like, I'm just not gonna talk to him. I'm not gonna talk to him. I'm just not gonna do it. Hey, can I send you a story? Yeah, of course. And they sent it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna act like I didn't get it. But he sent Coletta, and I was like, this is one of the single best stories that anybody's ever sent me voluntarily. Like, this is crazy good. I have never read something so cohesive and so out of the norm for Reddit. Like, this was, when I read it, no pun intended, I honestly thought this was like an excerpt from a novel. Like, that's what it felt like to me. Like, I was reading something that I wasn't fully aware of yet. Like, the thing that it was, there was a huge shit, like, there was so much shit surrounding it that I couldn't even comprehend that the story that I was reading was, like, just the story. That was it. There was nothing else to it. I felt like I was reading a chapter to a book rather than reading a short story on Reddit. So, that was a really cool experience. And honestly, after Coletta, I think that it made me try harder to find better stories. Because I knew they were out there. It was just trying to find them was the hardest part.
I am sorry. Somehow my Bluetooth got connected and I just muted you guys.
Oh.
So he heard none of that.
He was talking.
I heard a chunk of it.
Okay. Well, I was basically like totally sucking your dick on that one, but it's cool.
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, that's always welcome.
We're getting some interference on your side, by the way.
Yeah, hold on. Here we go. How's that? That better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Significantly.
Okay, yep. Got it.
Awesome. Sweet. Cool.
No, it's cool that you say that, though, because now that being the one that I actually am adapting into a full novel, because I felt the same way when I was writing it. There's
just so much more that you could do, yeah.
So I think people will really enjoy how it turns out. Either that or they'll hate me and call me a hack, whatever.
No, I'm really excited for the full book. I'm definitely gonna buy it whenever it comes out, and I'm gonna probably read it instantly.
Absolutely.
You'll have to do it all over again. I will say exactly what I said all over again, because if it's the truth, then it's going to come out just as easily as it did the first time.
Verbatim.
Yeah. And then it just doesn't. I say the wrong thing the whole fucking time.
You are a good worker.
You do the good stuffs. So,
Chat just crucifies you.
it wouldn't be the first time. Especially on this podcast.
Yeah.
So everybody has their story. Everybody has their reasoning for wanting to write. What inspired you, and what was the reasoning to pursue writing out of all things?
That's an excellent question. um, I mean, I've wanted to do it since I was a kid. It was just something that really drew me. Ironically, I wasn't much of a reader growing up. But I had a lot of people sort of putting me down, telling me, "Yeah, no, you're not gonna do that. That's a waste of time." So
Gotcha.
I was just I don't know, spiteful at first.
Hey, success out of spite's actually really effective. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, when people,
It
when the
is.
whole world is against you, that is like the one
It
point
feels
where you
so
gotta
good to
fucking
just show 'em up.
it's the one point where you just gotta be like, all right, go fuck yourself, because I'm about to show you that I'm the best at this shit.
Bingo.
And I read a quote. For the life of me, I do not know who said it. And I feel bad about that. But
Unacceptable. I need facts.
yeah.
I need fucking. I need you to
I mean,
cite
I
your
could,
sources.
tack away at the computer right now and
Nah,
just
it's
find
fine.
it. But it was essentially saying that everybody steps back away from creating something because there's always somebody better than them, and it's like disheartening.
Hmm.
But nobody looks at the other side of it, where there's a lot of people who are making success and they suck.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
why not just put it out there and see?
Yeah, you don't really know how much people will actually love your stuff and want to work with you because of your stuff until you actually
Yeah.
try to put yourself out there. It was the same thing when I started doing thumbnails. I didn't even like, this was a weird experience for me because I apparently had always had the skill to actually make them at the level I'm making them now, but I didn't know. I had been effectively training myself to do all of these things for like 2 years, and I didn't know. I knew the ins and outs of Photoshop for years, but I was making like this generic, just like chromatic aberration shit for years, just separating layers. That's it. Like, they didn't look bad, but there was like no effort to them. It was just like copy and paste constantly. And then out of nowhere, me and my friend Josh decided to challenge each other to do like some Western thing, and I made this like crazy cool looking postcard with like overlays and shit. And it was really nice. And I was like, wait a minute, I could have done this the whole time. And I started doing it, and the more I did it, people were like, wow, your thumbnails are really good. And I think it started when I started doing stuff for Swamp, and then someone was looking. I think Let's Read was looking for thumbnails,
Hmm.
and Swamp was like, "This guy does good thumbnails." I'm like, why would you do this to me? Like, for people who don't know, like, wait, why would he do the what's he do? That's great. Joel has the single most creative thumbnails on planet Earth, and his expectations are astronomical. Like, so every thumbnail I was making was literally breaking the fucking like mold every time. Like, I had to stretch my abilities constantly every single time I made a thumbnail. Like, don't like listen. It's kind of sounding like I'm bashing him. I'm really not. I love Joel. He's one of the nicest people on planet Earth, and he gave me such a crazy opportunity to be his thumbnail guy for a while. And I was like I was having the time of my life doing this. It was just so fucking hard. It was so fucking hard. So, like, but if I didn't put myself out, that's the point I'm trying to make, is that I could have said no. Like, I could have said, like, I don't think I could do this. Like, I really don't think I could do this because I don't think I'm at that level. And it wasn't until I tried, and it wasn't until I actually made the first thumbnail that I realized that I was in a completely different caliber of thumbnail making than I actually was. Like, I was convinced I was at like base level Photoshop art, but I was actually like 3 or 4 tiers above that the whole time, and I didn't know until I decided to actually put my foot in the door and make that thumbnail. And from then on, I have gotten hundreds, and I'm not boasting or anything, but I have gotten hundreds of emails and hundreds of Twitter messages from a bunch of smaller and bigger narrators. Like, I've worked with Mr. Creeps and Let's Read and fucking and Southern Cannibal and Swamp Dweller. I do Swamp Dweller's thumbnails all the time. I'm literally his main thumbnail person. All because
Awesome.
I decided, you know what, fuck it. I don't even know if I can do this, but I'm going to do this. So if that's any if you really think that you can't do this because everybody else is doing it better, just fucking put your foot in the door, because you might suddenly realize that you are way better than you thought you were.
Right.
All you need is that passion. All you need is that drive. Put your fucking foot in the door and do it. You'll never know unless you do it. You're just going to keep beating yourself up over it.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
I didn't mean to take that away from you. It's just
Oh,
I
no,
have a
fine.
similar I have a similar thing where it's just like
Similar.
I had a similar thing.
Similar.
I had a stimulus check. I had a stimulus check and I bought a bunch of cool stuff.
About 45 pounds of butter.
Jesus, what would you even do with that much butter? I mean, in the South, it'd be gone in like 2 seconds, but
Yeah.
Well, you cover yourself.
you can make about
and then
2 pancakes.
go
You can make about 2
torrent.
pancakes in the South with that much butter.
Or like Murdock said, you just cover yourself in it.
Oh yeah, you melt it and just jump
Or
in
my
it and
door
get out and glaze yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, just wait
Run
for it to
through
harden.
town, you know.
That's the sound I would make, by the way. That's why I was.
Oh!
That's your specific butter sound.
Yeah. Well, no, the butter would
Charlie
just.
Brown scream? Your butter scream is the Charlie Brown yell. I like it. Oh man.
Oh yeah, it is a Charlie Brown scream. I didn't even think about that. No, I was mimicking the fucking. Me and my friend at work have. He's randomly started doing this. He just randomly started screaming like. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, that's the sound that Yoda makes in the Lego games when he dies.
What?
It is.
You know,
So I do that all the fucking time.
He's not too far off.
Yeah, that's it's not exactly how it is, but that's like close to what it is. And now we just have our own fucking thing where randomly he'll do it in the morning when he's walking in. It's like fucking 8 in the morning. He'll be like, and I have to try to do it too, because like I have to let him know like I'm not out of this shit. I'm like I'm always in this shit. I have to show him that I'm always in this shit. So I'm like, that's all I got, bro. It's 8 in the morning. I haven't drank my coffee.
That's weird.
It just sounds depressing.
It's just fuck it.
Your morning one is just it's sad.
Yeah, but wait until I come back from lunch.
Ah.
Then I'm like, and then he's too tired to do it back. So now I'm like, well, now you're not in this shit. Where am I going with this? I don't know.
I don't know.
I was
Something
gonna
about
say
butter.
this is a lot.
I mean, hey, nobody else is pitching in, so I have to carry this shit by
That's
myself
true,
at the
that's
moment.
I mean,
I don't have
would-
any
look,
stories where I scream gibberish at my coworkers.
I
so-
have way too many of those stories. That's
I would just
literally
let
my
you
job.
finish. I wanted to know where it was gonna go.
There was nowhere that it was going. There's a lot of stories that I start, and I think there's a lot to them, and there's just nothing at the end.
Oh, what a coincidence.
What a coincidence. That's exactly
I
all
read
of
like
my
that
stories.
sometimes.
What a coincidence. That's exactly me. Oh,
I
man.
mean, to a T.
So, are you a big horror fan or a little horror fan? I need to know right now, and I need to has a follow-up question because of that.
I am a thick, girthy horror fan.
Okay, so I need to know what your favorite horror movie is. If you can't give me your favorite, you give me your top 3.
Hermer.
At the moment,
Herm.
my favorite one is Hereditary.
I'm sorry. Fucking Raven just made fun of me, and it's not fair because I know that's what I said.
Hermer.
I fucking hate you. Now I'm just
That's okay, I
No.
hate me too.
I hate myself. Hereditary.
I've never heard of it. Sounds good. What is it about?
It's pretty good. It's a bit of a mind fuck, but it's good.
Okay.
Are you at all into the found footage stuff?
It depends on the movie. Like, I like Blair Witch because I mean it's a classic.
Everybody
But a lot
hates
of
that.
them-
Anybody who watches found footage like religiously hates that fucking movie, and I don't know why.
Well, I
It's-
don't watch them religiously because
We-
I think most of them are trash.
They are trash. That's the funny part. But I joined this like Facebook group the other day, and it was strictly because it was called found footage like movie lovers or whatever it was, and I'm like, if there is a group of people who watch these movies religiously, then the only thing if I want to find like good ones, I have to like listen. Like I'm not even gonna post. I just want to listen to whatever. But like, hey, what's a good movie in this genre? What's a good movie in this genre? So I found a lot of good like alien based ones off of that, but there is a ton that just fucking suck, and they're blowing these movies out of proportion. Like there's one called Willow Creek. I don't know if I talked about it before on this. I think it was someone had suggested in the chat one time when we were talking about this previously that I would watch this movie called Exists. That one wasn't bad.
Oh, I think that was
You're breathing really hard into the mic. I'm just saying. it's blowing my ears out.
I think that was Mad Chatter, by the way.
It might have been. Yeah, I couldn't remember who did it, but that was actually a pretty decent Bigfoot flick. So that was cool. But there's a lot. Like Willow Creek is just literally an hour and 10 minutes of just complete and utter bullshit. Nothing's going on. There's nothing happening. They're just walking through the fucking woods. And I'm not even kidding you. Like I counted 45 minutes. They are in a tent listening to twigs snapping. Like that's it. They're just holding each other, listening to the sounds in the woods, and everybody's like, "This is the most tense thing I have ever seen. There's nothing else." And I remember watching that movie, and I was like, "This is not actually going to be like the rest of the movie, is it?" I kept skipping and skipping and skipping. Nothing. There's not even talking. Like they stopped talking after like 15 minutes in, and then that's it, and then it's over, and then you see some like naked lady walking through the woods. You don't even get to see Bigfoot. Like that's it. Like what the fuck? You have so much like you could do with found footage. There's like with shaky camera angles, you could literally make anything look real. Like that's what's the best part about found footage. The shitty camera angles makes it so you could have the worst effects and it looks great. That's how they always get away with it. That's why all of these independent found footage movies get away with like having the worst budgets, is that they just shake the camera a little bit and it's automatic motion blur. Like they don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
Well, see, your problem is that you're watching the wrong Bigfoot movie. The best Bigfoot movie is, of course, Call of the Wild.
Is this a found footage movie?
No.
It's just like an actual Bigfoot movie?
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good.
It's
So you were
it's one of the worst things I've ever
you were
seen.
being sarcastic with me.
Yes.
Well, I could not tell.
Oh, my bad.
Tell either. I was like, okay, so wanted to check it. Oh, it's bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
no,
no, I genuinely thought
don't
like
waste
no,
your
it's
time.
definitely it. Like I thought you were being serious.
No, my bad. No.
Unacceptable.
It's one of the worst. Bigfoot has psychic superpowers and
Oh.
talks to a little boy and gets him to walk cross country to
I like
save the forest.
Only this little
It's-
boy can help me.
Yeah, it's
Just this little boy, nobody else. Nobody come with him. I'm watching you, Jerry. Don't.
All right.
yeah,
Is
it's
someone
trash.
eating? I'm hearing some light lip smacking. No, I'm finishing my drink. Leave me
That's-
alone.
Oh, that might have been me.
It could have also been me. I don't know. Deal with it. Everybody in this fucking chat always says like ASMR, and they're like, "Oh my god, I hear lips." I have some. Like, sorry, it's not. I can't
Yeah, you
edit
should've
the
warned
fucking
me. I
lip
had
smacking
my
out
mouth
in this.
preparation.
I can't edit these out, so you just got to deal with it. Dark got excited for a sec. Listen, all right? When anybody says, like, hey, this is the best movie of this thing, I'm going to go watch it. Like,
It's yeah, no, it's not. It's horrifyingly bad.
I actually watched I guess it's horror. It's more thriller recently that I liked, which is interesting because I don't watch a lot of movies.
you really don't.
Yeah, I know. Anyways,
Unacceptable.
it was called the Belko Experiment.
Okay.
It's pretty good. Really gory, but pretty good.
Yeah, just don't say what it's about. That's fine, too.
No, it's fine. I don't want to give away like the. Okay, fine. I'll read the IMDb page.
That
In a
and then it just gives you the whole plot, and you're like, oh, no.
In a
Yeah,
twisted
yeah.
social experiment, 80 Americans are locked in their high-rise corporate office in Bogota, Colombia, and ordered by an unknown voice coming from the company's intercom system to participate in a deadly game of kill or be killed.
Oh.
Hmm.
It's actually, I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool.
That does sound interesting.
I think there was a... Is there a movie I watched recently? I watched Life recently, not with Eddie Murphy. The newer one.
I got excited.
No, I've already seen that one like a multitude of times. But I watched the 2017 one. It's kind of like the cat and mouse alien type of thing. Where they go and they find like a microorganism on Mars, and it turns out like it's able to it's like a single-celled organism, but it's able to like it's asexual, so it's able to like constantly reproduce, and it turns into like this mass like alien structure thing, and it just chases everybody throughout the ship. Normally that would be like very generic, and a lot of people have failed at that, but oh my god, that movie scared the living shit out of me. There's so many parts to that movie that are like my worst fears because it all takes place in space. So there's a lot of shit where like people are getting sucked out and like flung into fucking open space. That scares the living shit out of me. And the way they film it, they're just like, they're hopeless. They're tethered like brakes and they're flying into deep space screaming at the top of their lungs. Oh my god. There's a part in the fucking movie. I'm just gonna all right, spoilers right now. Does anybody not want to hear this?
Go for it.
I say go for it.
All right. It's one part of the movie. It's not like story premise or anything, but there is somebody in here who dies, and her fucking cooling of her in her suit gets punctured by the alien because it's trying to make their way into their suit, and the cooling starts leaking out into her fucking helmet in like these like cohesive bubbles because it's in space, so there's no gravity, so it's just bubbles. And now she just starts fucking drowning, trying to get back inside the ship. She's drowning in space. Like, what? That's so fucking... Dude, how are you not even on the... You're not even anywhere near a body of water, and you still have to worry about drowning. And now you're still in space, so when you drown, you fucking float forever? Like, oh my god. That's horrifying. That's horrifying. She's literally choking on coolant as she's trying to get back into the ship. Oh my god, it scared the shit out of me. Like, that whole movie, it's not like the most well-written story, and some of the acting is a little subpar, but like, some of the aspects of like people getting flung into fucking space and like this alien going way too fast and you can't see where it is, and it's like puncturing holes in your suit and trying to crawl inside. Oh my god. It tries to crawl inside them. Like, it's so gross. It's so nasty, and it's like, ugh. Oh, that movie scared the shit out of me. The ending especially, I had to sit with it for a second before it actually started to scare me. Like, the ending actually fucking terrified me, and that's been a long time since a movie has done that. It's just because like it's not the actual thing. It's not the actual ending itself. It's like when you think about what happened to them, like as it was happening, it's like, okay, that's really fucked. Like, oh shit, that's actually really bad. And then the movie ends and you're like, oh my god, that's just how. Oh, they don't tell you anything. Patience, this is Life 2017. It has Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal, so that's probably how you could pin it down.
That's
Dear Jake Gyllenhaal, how do you spell your last name?
Gilliglug.
It's Gyllenhaal.
I don't fucking know, but it's a pretty good movie. If you guys like spooky space movies, Life is pretty cool. I've been wanting to watch it for a very long time, and I never got around to it. But now that I did, wow, I wish I didn't watch that alone because that movie was fucking. I was constantly like looking around my fucking room like ah. It's a good movie though. I liked it. Other people probably hated it, but I thought it was cool. Space scares me, so automatically that movie's terrifying. It is. The funny part is like gravity did nothing for me. Like gravity was like so like it visually looked cool, but I had no fuck. I did not give a shit if Sandra Bullock flew into deep space. Like I give no fucks. So yeah.
Oh, I did see a movie based on a Lovecraft story recently.
Color Out of Space.
With
Yeah,
Nick Cage.
that movie is exactly what you. A lot of people didn't like it, but I'm like, it's probably because you didn't like Lovecraft as much as you thought you did.
Mhm.
Because it's so much of Lovecraft that it's actually kind of sickening, and I understand that part.
Yeah.
Like it's so Lovecraftian. I love it. I thought it was really fucking cool. And as like a Lovecraft lover, I love that movie. I love that movie so much. It fucked me up though. There's a lot of parts to that movie that really like are disturbing. Like really
Just hard to look at.
yeah, really really fucking disturbing. Multiple aspects. Particularly, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything about this movie. I promise you, I'm not going to spoil anything about this movie. But I'm just going to say what I think I could say so that you understand the part I'm trying to talk about. Fusing.
Yes, I was just gonna say alpacas.
Not just the alpacas.
It wasn't just, but
But you know exactly what I'm talking. I'm talking about when they first show what happened.
yeah.
That part fucked
was-
me up. Oh my
I
god.
thought
I had to turn it off for a
one
second. I actually had to like turn it off for like an hour. Like I couldn't watch for a little bit. That
It
movie
was
fucked
rough
me
to
up.
look at, but
Color Out of Space
I
is
loved
like
every
if you are like a true Lovecraft lover, like you fucking need to watch that movie. Nick Cage, he does such a good job at going between like normal dad to absolute fucking apeshit. Like he is absolutely bonkers in this movie. Bonkers.
It's not like a normal Nick Cage freak out. It's
No,
like,
he's actually being
really insane.
the whole thing about Color Out of Space is that a meteor hits the Earth and it starts to emit this like color wave, and Lovecraft describes it as like an indescribable color that is not of human describability. Like you can't, it's not on the spectrum. You can't actually like describe it or anything. That's what he says. And this color starts to leak out. When it starts to leak out, it starts to emit this like radiation property that everything in the vicinity of the farm that it lands on completely starts like mutating and morphing, and it starts morphing like the vegetables, and when they start eating the vegetables, they start getting affected by the color. So
And it pollutes the groundwater
and it pollutes
stuff.
everything around it. So there's a part of the movie where it makes like their crops like massive. So Nick Cage is like, yeah, awesome. So he takes the fucking tomatoes into the thing and he starts washing them and he bites into them and it's like horrible. It's like rancid tomatoes, but they're gigantic. And from that point on, I mean, he was already getting like a little bit like twitchy and like a little bit sinister. But after that point, it's like point of no return. He absolutely goes like completely out of his mind.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's hard to watch, honestly. Like if you have a sensitive stomach, do not watch that movie. It's not easy to watch. Like, yeah, you can probably get through the
a couple rough
original
bits.
like the Thing from 1980s. It's worse. Like the Thing from the 1980s is like it's pretty fucking disgusting and gory in a lot of aspects. This one's worse.
It's definitely worse.
It's up there with Slither, honestly.
Yeah.
Sli-
Oh,
S-
God,
Slither honestly got me about the same.
Slither sat with me for a long time.
I don't think I've watched
love
it since I
Nathan
saw it the
Fillion.
last time, and that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I haven't seen it in
I can't watch
quite
that
a long
movie again.
time.
it's so fucking horrifying. I can
So
watch
you
Color Out
haven't
of Space
watched-
again. Yeah,
You haven't
Oh,
watched
yeah.
it since you saw it the last time.
you know what I meant. I have a
I mean,
lot
you're
of.
not wrong. I'm just giving you shit here.
I know. Have you seen it though?
No.
Oh my god! Don't
Oh,
watch
man.
it. Don't watch it.
I caught it when it was on like the Sci-Fi Channel, like on one of their late night deals. And that was probably like 10 or so years ago, if not more.
But yeah, I saw it. I think I saw it twice. First time I saw it like voluntarily. I don't know why my parents would let me watch that fucking movie, but and then afterwards it was involuntarily. I kind of just saw bits and pieces, but it was like the worst parts. I don't even remember the premise of the movie. Like that's how long
Oh,
it's
I
been
do.
since I've seen it. But I know a lot of those like it's the worst thing. It's the worst thing in the world. There is a gelatinous fucking leech-like creature and it crawls inside people. Like that's what I remember from the movie, and it's fucking nasty. It's so fucking gross. Shit like that, like when they crawl inside people's bodies, like any fucking any horror movie that does that, you automatically like I want to turn the fucking movie off. Like I hate that shit so much. It makes me so uncomfortable. There is an Evil Dead remake from like 2011, something like that. I think you
That
guys know which
sounds
one.
right.
I think you know which one I'm talking about. But there's a part where like the main girl who gets like possessed in the beginning, like nobody's believing her. It's the most fucked up shit, but it's also like really funny because like nobody cares. And she was like running into the woods, and something like comes out of the ground, and it's this like gigantic tentacle, and it just goes right up her leg and then right inside. It's gigantic too. It's not like a small like thing. It's a gigantic slithery snake. It's horrifying. And then afterward, and then that's it. Like it's just inside her, and then she gets possessed. And I'm like, what the fuck?
It's a bit intense.
It just this just happens, and then next scene, I'm like, no, what? And that happens in life too.
warning
Like the
in the
alien
movie.
crawls inside multiple people, and it's horrifying.
Well, now I know exactly what to write to creep you out.
Bro, that
bit.
shit is so nasty. There was like body horror gets me like so fucking easily. That shit is so nasty. Like I feel like that is a part of body horror. It might not be, but there is shit like I couldn't read some of the last video I did. Like it was the Court of the Crimson King. There's a lot of body horror in that. Like it and Slither type of body horror. Like at the end, everybody's like congealed together. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, gross. No. Everybody's morphing together, and there's like hands sticking out of faces, and it's so gross. Like the newer movie of The Thing, I think captures how gross the body horror can be a little bit better than the original because of the effects. Like the practical effects in the first one are like really well done. It's just like the only issue I had with that movie is like it just didn't seem cohesive. Like a lot of shit just felt kind of all over the place, and the pacing was really weird, and a lot of the acting was really bad. So like it just didn't capture me that much. But the newer one, like it just felt more complete, I guess, because it's more modernized. But there's a lot of fucked up shit in that movie. There's so much fucked up shit in that movie. They have the two-faced alien from the first one in the newer prequel, and they show how they got like that. And it's so horrifying to watch. The alien just crawls up to the guy laying on the floor, and he can't back up any further. So the alien just touches his face against the other guy's face and just steals him. Like, just fucking morphs into his face and steals him and drags him away. And now that guy's literally sentient still. He's still alive, but he's being morphed into this creature. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Anyways, so you're writing.
Yeah, honestly, let's just go on to that, because
We're not a movie podcast, I promise.
we're not a movie podcast, but we are a horror podcast. So, technically, we're still in the right.
Yeah. Go on. So,
I was gonna say, you
Where
brought
was
this
I?
on yourself, man.
I forgot what I was saying. So
Go ahead.
you've obviously. I'm going. You... Who
Well,
are you
I'm
again?
waiting.
No, so like obviously I've read something that I want to say. Is it said something took my daughter? Right. It's been a little bit.
I think that's what I titled it. Yeah.
Okay.
I
And then
can't
I also
remember.
read What the Heart Wants for Valentine's Day.
Yes, I
TDN's
loved
done
your
Coletta.
performance on that.
Dude, I loved that story. So how do you like sit down? I realize it is me with a lisp Mac. I'm sorry, my mouth's really dry. I need more water. How do you sit down and come up with your ideas? Like for What the Heart Wants, how did you kind of like? What was your brainstorming like with that? I am curious because that one it was a pretty brutal story.
This is where it's gonna be a really like unfulfilling answer. My brain just kind of does that. A lot of times
Okay.
there's not a lot of brainstorming involved. I'll just be like, I kind of want to write a story, so I'll sit down and think for maybe 2-3 minutes, and then I'm on something.
Okay.
For Valentine's Day, I just wanted to do something, and just kind of twist the holiday, which has been done so many times, but it seemed fun, so I wanted to do something special for it.
I mean, it was a damn good story. Honestly, it was really
Well,
fun
thank
to
you.
act out because, yeah, if anyone hasn't heard that, sorry, but like the main character trying to maintain the sane tone, but also kind of lead on that the guy's absolutely out of his fucking mind. I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, I
I
think
mean, if this kind of helps answer your question, for a lot of that story, I did have to kind of voice the lines in my head
Hmm.
and sort of like act them out myself before I could write them.
That makes
So
sense.
there was a lot of me looking really goofy in my office,
just like,
alone in
no,
the dark.
no, you're not doing that. Yes, I'm doing that. No, you're not.
Trust me, I look rather goofy whenever I'm voice acting because I move my hands a lot.
Like if you go back and you read the story or you listen to it, however you want to take it in, just imagine me sitting in a chair in a dark room, embodying everything that's being said in
Just
that in that
eyes like
story.
bloodshot and wide open.
Pretty much.
So it's also been asked by the chat. Sorry, is there anything you look for in a narrator whenever you choose them to read your stories?
Well, yes
It's
and
definitely
no.
not talent because he chose me.
Right.
Yes and no. A lot of it I kind of just be like, well, it's mutual exposure for both of us, So I tend to just tell anybody who wants to narrate my stuff. If they come to me, I tell them, just go for it. But as far as me looking for somebody, usually I just watch a few videos, and if I can really get into their voice, and I think it'd be a good match, then
Right.
I usually try to hit them up. Of course, I don't get a chance to watch or listen to as many nowadays as I did when I started, but I
Right.
still try.
Because I know, like I've done one. I know TDN's done one. Didn't I think Madame Frightmare did one of yours as well as Chronopasta.
Yep.
See, I mean, you chose some very good
Um,
ones. Some
I was gonna
good
say,
narrators.
I've actually lost track. I feel a little bad, but I've lost track of how many people have actually narrated my work.
I mean, when you have the gift of writing like you do, and you write as well as you do, it's kind of hard for people not to like be like, I gotta narrate. I have to try. So
Right.
it makes a lot of sense. But at that
Mm.
point, you're just like, yeah, I don't remember the last like 50 people that asked.
I need to go back and read because I know that I feel like what's it called? Prison Called Sanity was one that's been read a few times.
Yeah.
I need to actually go back and read that
enjoyed
story.
I enjoyed reading that one.
Has anybody else done Coletta?
Yeah, a couple people have. Lady Spookaria did it.
Okay.
Oh,
She was one of the first ones. And then, who was the other one? Oh, Dr. Creepin did a really good Coletta.
Really?
oh.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me.
I mean, sorry, Dark. I love you to death, but I'm gonna have to listen to Creepins because
It's probably better.
If you type in Coletta werewolf in YouTube, it's the first thing that comes up. It's got 19,000 views.
Okay.
Just fucking shit all over my stuff.
No, you did a very good job.
Uh-huh.
No, you did, but Creep. Okay, you gotta understand. Creepin is a little something different. Okay, come on.
I know. My thumbnail's still better.
It's the voice
Actually,
of him.
no offense to him, but I do like your thumbnail more.
Ha.
Ha.
Because that totally matters for narration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Picture's prettier.
Pictures nice and stuff. I gotta get back into narrating. I know. I've been out of the game for a little bit. I'm coming back, I think. Just not as strongly as probably people would hope. There's an update coming out. I kind of posted this on Twitter. I don't mean to like fill this. I'm just gonna say it briefly. But I did kind of, if anybody doesn't follow me on Twitter, I did kind of post on Twitter about it a little bit. Where I don't think I'm going to fully do narrations anymore. I think I'm going to kind of keep the podcast thing going a lot and possibly like 1 or 2 narrations a week, maybe. And then like I do want to do some like gaming stuff and kind of branch out into maybe some deep dives and stuff like that. I think I want to branch out from narration because it's not, I feel like I'm kind of backing myself creatively into a corner with the channel.
Mm-hmm.
Like podcast was like the first time that I ever on the channel posted something that felt different. And from then on, it kind of just felt like I wanted to do other things on the channel. I love narrating. Like I've been doing it for years before the Dark Narrator, so this isn't like something that I can just give up, but it's something that I think that I have to kind of split between other creative outlets. And this is my thing. Like my channel, this is the only channel I have really that I do anything on. So like creating another channel and trying to get people to go to it is going to be like nearly fucking impossible.
Right.
So trying to make something more cohesive on the channel with a bunch of other stuff, that's what I'm aiming for. Like I want to be able to do narrating. I want to be able to do like the podcast and like gaming and like, but keep it all like horror based. Like the podcast has like horror authors and narrators and stuff, so that's horror based. The content may not be most of the time, but it's fine. And like narrations are horror based. Maybe I'll just do horror games. If I do games, I'll just do horror games. You know, I just want to be able to branch out and do cool stuff and not be limited by like one form of content.
Not allowed.
Well, guess I'll just go fuck myself and do it somewhere else.
Go to Twitch, bro. See you on
I do want to
Mixer.
apologize real quick for the chat. I have seen now a couple times you guys have asked questions, and I'm really bad at multitasking, so
So are we. That's
I'm
why we haven't
really
asked them.
sorry if I missed your questions.
No, they're actually. I was gonna ask you the other questions. What you do whenever you have writer's block? That was a good question. I know you wrote a story about writer's
Ooh.
block.
Yeah, when I have writer's block, usually I. Sorry, excuse me.
Good.
I have to.
That's why I keep muting myself, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I know I keep coughing too. That's what I'm saying. That's why I keep doing that. You're good.
I usually just try to take a quick break, you know. if I keep trying to push through writer's block, I get kind of tunnel vision, and then what comes out of it usually is not not as good as it could have been.
I
So
feel
I
that.
think time away is definitely the best cure, at least for me, for writer's block. Is just
I
try to
agree with
put it
that.
out of my mind.
I found that same thing. Yeah, that if I can step away for a little, excuse me, for a little bit, it tends to help a lot.
Hmm.
I think that feels like the same thing as the narrating thing for me. Like
Yeah.
backing away from it for a while was kind of like what I needed to really get back into it. And every time I do a podcast episode, like I'm ready, like I should record like after this. Like I don't know, because just talking to people that are a part of the community is kind of what gets me back into the community. Because I have such a like, you everybody knows like I have such a disdain for a lot of aspects of it. So a lot of the stuff that's going on right now is kind of why I haven't been doing it. But um, yeah, I think taking a step back from what you creatively do like all the time is definitely what you need to get back into it as strong as possible. I think
Hmm.
that's why it's good to not just have one creative outlet. Like you should probably branch out and do multiple things. It may be a little bit daunting, but like, and don't burn yourself out. Like, don't burn your fucking self out. I've done that so many times. Just don't do it. But don't take on more that you can handle. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But definitely have more than one creative outlet because it's also going to help you get back into the other thing better and faster because you're still creative, but you're not doing the same thing all the time.
Right.
Yeah. I agree.
Harry, wholeheartedly. Like if you've always wanted to try music, fuck it, just try it one day and see what happens,
Hmm.
and like try to make something, and then like once you go down that road and you make a bunch of stuff, just come back to what you were doing before, and it'll probably be like as fresh as it was when you first started it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Do I have any stories that haven't been narrated that I want narrated? Yes, I was talking about the Blair Witch. I'm like actively like obsessively watching the chat. The original Blair Witch, yes. Stories that I want narrated that haven't been narrated. There are stories I want narrated, yes, but I don't think they can be. Uh,
Why? Because of structure?
their level of appropriateness for
Oh
YouTube.
yeah.
I see that.
If this tells you anything, the one that I'm thinking of is actually called Lollipop, and it
Oh.
got me banned from Reddit.
Oof.
Oh shit.
So I had to make a new account and post the rest
Oh
of my
wait,
stuff and
no,
leave that one out.
you're right. You're kind of right about that because I think Coletta on my channel is 18 and up
Oh
because
yeah,
it deals with
probably.
like killing children.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, if I remember correctly, I think Coletta might actually be an 18 and up video, and I remember posting it like, I don't
I
care if
think
it's
you're
18 and up, I want to narrate it. Hold on,
right.
is this? It is. Yeah, it's age
Yeah, it's
restricted. I
restricted.
age restricted it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was scared. I'm like, I've read it, and then I was like, this has a child being kind of ripped apart by a werewolf pretty gruesomely.
Only kind of.
He just gets stolen out of the window. So yeah, and when that happened, I had just started seeing people having a lot of issues with like the whole like, is this made for kids? Is it not made for kids? So like,
Mhm.
I was like, I should probably just age restrict it just to make sure I don't get banned.
Yeah. So yes, there are some stories I have that I don't think ever will be narrated. Um, I'm kind of saving those along with a handful of others, and maybe I'll just publish a collection someday.
That's a good way to do it.
But but yeah, no, there's certain ones that they can't be on YouTube.
No, I get that. I didn't even think about it until I remembered that I did age restrict Coletta. They're like, oh yeah, so he's not he's not afraid to completely break the inappropriate scale.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I have a story. It's more comical than anything, but it's literally titled "Larry is a necrophiliac,"
Oh,
or Larry was a necrophiliac. Yeah, no, it's
if
it's
you're a
goofy, but I
necrophiliac,
mean,
don't go outside at 3 a.m.
You didn't say it was on No Sleep Dark.
You
Well,
know,
still, but
yeah,
I was making a no sleep joke. I don't know.
I'm a necrophiliac, and there are 7 rules we have to follow. Sorry.
That's so good.
I mean, it's so true though.
That's so
Yeah,
good. That was so
we do
good.
kind of
We make fun of those titles.
on No Sleep. So
Yeah, we really fucking make fun of those titles. Like,
Just too many
my town
words.
has 15 rules to follow, and if you don't follow them, this thing will come out at 3 a.m. Don't go pissing in the woods with your flashlight off. There's something listening. Like, I don't know. Like, that's what they say. It's so dumb.
I mean, the idea is interesting. I like it. There's something listening.
Don't climb a tree with change in your pocket. There's something in the woods. Like, it's so stupid. And like the over-explanatory ones, I hate
There are
those.
Don't go to 7-Eleven at 7-Eleven on 7-Eleven.
That's probably already one, honestly.
Probably.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, hold on. He's gonna go look. That's the problem. But no, yeah, there's some. Yeah, we in a loving manner, I guess, make fun of some of the things on No Sleep. I absolutely hate how, for some reason, some no sleep authors feel the need to use those kinds of tropes. No Sleep, and I hate to say, like, it gets shit that it shouldn't, but at the same time, it gets shit that it should.
You can find the best
Those
ones
are
on
terrible.
Mr. Creep's titles.
That too.
I sort of habitually avoid no sleep if I can. Honestly.
Yeah.
I took a
It's-
job as a
it's-
janitor. Had to
it's not
follow a
my
very
cup of
strange
tea.
set of rules.
Mm-hmm. I'm
I worked in a fire lookout for 10 years. We looked out for more than just fires. That's Creeps McPasta. Any person who does like 99% creepypastas on their channel, this is what you'll see. The white and red text on like some monster that has nothing to do with the story.
Mm-hmm.
And
Some art picture they got from ArtStation.
yeah, like Siren Head or some fucking something from Trevor Henderson, and it's just like fucking blown out of proportion, and then it's just like this long ass title. Like, don't get me wrong, like I watch a shit ton of Mr. Creeps like all the fucking time, but still, like I just think the fucking titles are stupid.
Have you ever heard of the subreddit Shitty No Sleep?
No.
I've heard of it. I don't spend time on it.
They're parodies of No Sleep.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to look this up.
I worked the late night shift at drive-through fast food outlet, and we know the truth about what they put in the burgers. Part 6 of 19.
That's so fucking funny.
Here's the story. Poop. Ha ha ha. That's it.
Wait,
They're
it's called Shitty No Sleep?
Yeah, r/shitty no sleep.
Okay. Hot. I want to see what the hottest one is.
I bought a haunted dildo from the dark web. It's stuff like that. I don't know why I like this sub so much. At 3 a.m. It's the whole story. Because I don't know. Like I said, I haven't used No Sleep Stories in such a long time because
Whatever you do, never trust the girl who plays hockey with boys.
you get some pretty good stories in this sub.
Barry Manilow murdered my grandma. This is some clickhole shit.
Yes.
Oh my god. I just saw the put in the burgers thing.
Don't follow these 3 rules.
The Antique Roadshow might think that paperback books are worthless, but one writer was sending messages that could have saved countless lives.
Oh god.
That's the title?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus
It's like a
Christ.
paragraph. Oh.
Oh, it's a whole story too. It's legit.
Yeah. I think
Like they're-
some people might be taking it too seriously.
for sure.
This is so fucking funny. Do you guys remember the licked hand creepypasta? like
No.
where he- the dog is like her comfort animal, and she keeps putting her hand under her bed so that the dog can like lick her hand to make her feel like safe or whatever. And then
Yeah,
she
yeah.
goes into the bathroom, and then and she sees like her dead dog in the thing or whatever it is. And it turns out like there's like and she sees like fog on her mirror, and it says humans can lick too.
Oh
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's creepy.
a girl.
I mean,
This
that's the whole story right there.
it's
but
literally
yeah.
just that she keeps doing it, and then she sees her dog like dead in the corner or whatever it is, and then it says on the mirror humans can lick too, and it turns out for the last like 3 hours a dude was like under her bed licking her hand.
Weird.
Yeah, but this is
Yeah,
like a
definitely an
shitty
urban
no sleep
legend.
version. The licked hand. A girl was falling asleep when she felt her dog lick her hand. When she woke up, she remembered she didn't have a dog. She panicked, but then she remembered she had a cat.
Love it.
I love that. That's
That
like an
just sounds
anti
like-
joke.
like
That's
an
really funny.
anti-joke.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's an anti joke.
Man walks into a bar. His alcoholism is destroying his family.
I love anti jokes. I love them. What's worse than
Ugh.
finding a worm in your apple? The Holocaust.
Go for it.
Oh,
That's
Oh, yeah.
that's it. That's
you're not wrong.
that's the best part about anti jokes. It's so funny. What did Batman say to Robin before he got in the car? Get in the
Get
car.
in the car.
I've heard that one.
A dyslexic man
Horse
walks into a bra.
bar.
Yes.
Yeah, dyslexic man walks into a bar.
An Irish man walks out of a
Horse
bar.
walks into a bar. Several people, seeing the danger in the situation, get up and leave.
I love that one. That one's great. Oh man. Anyways, guys, what the fuck was that? Why did that fly across my room? Just like they put my pen down on my desk and it flies across the room. There it
Well, you're
goes.
haunted.
Anyways, everybody, I think that's where we will cut this episode off. Murdock, thank you so much for stopping by. This was like what, a couple months in the making. We were supposed to have this done
Right.
like a while ago before the hiatus happened.
Mm-hmm.
You were the
Yeah.
the last guest we were supposed to have before everything went down, but it just ended up like fucking everything.
Sorry, man.
I'm sorry.
It wasn't you.
It's
It was
okay. I
us.
understand.
That was
Life
definitely me
happens.
mostly.
It wasn't you. It was Dark.
It was definitely me, yeah.
Love to have you on again for
Oh yeah,
maybe a more
100%.
serious one. It's been
Oh,
a
yeah,
weird day. I feel
absolutely.
like we're all in a
Anytime
weird
you guys
mental
want.
state.
I mean, I think it went fine. I don't know, but yeah.
Oh no, it went fine. I just like less movie talk.
Yeah.
Well, listen.
It's all your fault.
Listen. Just because
No.
you don't watch movies doesn't mean it's my fault that we talk about movies, okay?
It literally is. But we love you for it, buddy.
Listen, you're every guest that I talk about it with is fine, and then you just don't watch movies, so you're not fine with it.
Yes.
Well, it's not about you, it's about the guests.
I mean, I watch a lot of movies too, so I was cool with it.
Ha ha! Joke's on you, Raven. He's the new co-host. No, I'm kidding.
Oh shit. Okay.
This is the whole. This was supposed to happen. I was gonna see how this went, and it went fine. Get out. No, I'm kidding. Don't do
Okay.
that. Don't leave.
see how it-
No.
Oh no. No.
No.
Raven said goodbye.
No.
Okay.
TDN.
No, but for real, we'll have to
Hermerver.
have it. We'll
Hermerver.
have
Why
to
did
have
I
you
say
on.
it like that?
Hermerver.
Hermerver. I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt.
Hermerver.
Do it.
Hermerver.
I'll buy it.
I'd buy it from myself. Anyway.
Stare at it and think about buying it, and then just pretend I was like, yeah, I bought it, and then just not.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the TheDarkNest podcast. As always, the guests links will be down in the description if you want to go check this out. He has his Reddit and his Twitter in the description, so please go check that out. He has Colita, the full novel, coming out at some point. He's still working on it, but please, if you haven't listened or read Coletta at all, you really need to read what he has so far because it's really well written and it's just completely what is the word? Underappreciated. That's the word I'm thinking of. Completely underappreciated. So thank you guys, as always, for watching this episode. Next week, we don't have a confirmed guest, but we will be working on it over the course of the week, so I will let you guys know on Twitter. This is the Darkness Podcast. I am TD and Horror Stories. That is As the Raven Dreams, and we will see you guys next week for another
Sleep well,
episode.
Thanks for
friends.
having me, everybody.
Yes.
Bye!